What's good, people? This is episode 209. Who knows? 210. Who knows? Who cares? Doesn't matter because I got this guy. This guy looks like Dave Shaw. Dave Shaw is always on the road. This is the only time I'm going to catch this dude. So buckle up. The episode starts right now. Nice. Well, they wasn't rocking with me. Now they quick to change. Stay the course, be the boss. Ain't no switching lanes. Look at this dude on the road. Dave Shaw's in the house. Let's go. That's a Valentino
Feeling
reference.
divine on episode 209. My time is your time. Jay DeBillius, a.k.a. Hater Jay, New York City Yankee fan, because we love bad choices. How you doing, bud?
Listen, sometimes you make a choice and sometimes it's chosen for you. Even before I knew how to play baseball, I was a Yankee fan. And there's a story behind that. But, oh, man, where you headed?
Oh,
So you're headed home and then you're going to Apaka, right?
yeah, I'm trying to dodge this tornado in wonderful upstate New York. And then I got to run home, pack real quick, grab my extra gear, load up my soccer mom minivan, and start heading towards Opeka and find an oil change on the way. Because I got to be there to set up gear and sound checks by 7. So it's about a 12-hour trip. As long as I get on the road by 5:30, 5:45, I should be good.
Good, I like that. Let me ask you something. You can hear me, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool. So Denver AVP, right? There was some
Oh, good one.
there was something electric about the atmosphere. There was this huge a buzz in the air and this huge electricity in the atmosphere. So from I'm a coach and a color commentator and a play-by-play guy. You're an announcer and a commentator and a play-by-play guy. So from one person to another, we have almost identical wheelhouses, even though you are father superior. How does that translate to camera? Like Huntington Beach, I was there, right? But when you watched it, it was still good to watch and it was still fun to watch. But there was nothing like being there live. And
All right.
Denver,
Yep.
how did they translate that from that electricity from live to the screen where everybody appreciated the same electricity?
Well, I think I think of the ambient audio being fed in because you can hear the crowd engagement. And also, I mean, what Denver does, and I mean, tip of the cap to AVP, the leadership there, and Tommy Davenport. That partnership is just, I mean, Tommy always goes full throttle, empty bottle at the end of the day just because he's, pouring everything he has out into making this event huge. And AVP supported it. I mean, you saw the leadership on site. You saw all the McKibbins, like so much went into that. But it's because the passion and play is there. And I think from the leadership to the, owner, Tommy, the owner of the Denver Open, and the passion boiled over, the engagement, players sitting there working with, kids and signing balls and just, talking and conversing with the crowd. Everyone, like I don't care what you got going on in life. Sinister Grinister, if you're the Grinch, dude, the Grinch who stole Christmas would have given it back at Denver. I mean, everybody was feeling a good vibe, good mood. And when, as a live guy and MC, crowd like that makes my job easier. Half the time I'm behind a mic or behind a tent announcing because like Denver was wall to wall standing. And I mean, there were 14 rows deep of people all around center court for the qualifier. That just set the tempo and the pace for the whole weekend. And, crowds coming in, and they did a charity fundraiser. And so there were, I guess, tickets at the door, but all of that went to Volley for charity and, a great organization in Denver. And, so yeah, it was a quote unquote ticket price to get in, but it was a charitable donation. That was your entry fee was, hi, you're doing good things
I
for the
like that.
community. You're
Yep.
welcome.
Yeah. No doubt. And that's what I enjoyed about it. I was calling court 7, and um, you had a bird's eye view of like center court and the court next to you, and I know you were watching the outer courts. My, and everybody has like a favorite match. Like Madison McKibben up to me and said, what was your
Oh,
what was your best match of the tournament?" Like Madison came up to me after, and I told him Stephen Roschitz and Peter Cannell versus Evan Corey and Ali
oh,
Sancerudi. And it's weird because I said by far, but I was also a prisoner of the moment because I thought the final, like you can make an argument that the finals was equally as exciting, right? Decided by two, set three, you know?
yeah.
Yep. What about yours?
Gotta say, it's so hard for me because so many went to three, and you love to see the competition. You love to. No one wants to see a blowout, right? But I want to say probably starting things off. Well, from wanting to watch, I'm sorry, Fallon is always fun to watch. She has
Ella Gray, yeah.
bravado. She
Mhm.
got bravado, passion, play. I was talking to her out off the court, and I said, why am I go every time when you get super fired up, you do the Phelan stomp. And she goes, what? I go, you do the Phelan stomp. Like if you have a monster block or something, you literally, your arms come down like you're a 5-year-old about to throw a tantrum, but no, you're screaming with passion saying, and it's this one lunge, pound the ground, shake the earth, just, ah! And she's like, oh my God, I do. And I'm like, how do you not notice that?
Mhm.
Like, it's the Phelan stop. I go, but my favorite match, I'm gonna have to say the quali with Skylar Del Sol and Carlson, Ian Carlson.
Oh, against Kalinsky and
Oh, nailed by Kalinsky and hold on, Alvaro. No, Fillo.
oh yeah,
Alvaro Fillo.
Marcos Carvajales.
Mark,
Right.
was it Marcos? Oh man, I'm getting them mixed up. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's a good
oh yeah,
player.
that's right. But I'll tell you what, that one went to three, and Skylar and I are about the same height. But when Skyler has some monster blocks, and just you figure he's going to be your defensive guru, but no, he was all over the place. Ian Carlson looked so silky smooth, with his long lettuce. And I called him Summer Sweater because I just love it. He's rocking his best Magnum PI, chest hair, and the like. But dude, and Skyler was in Arizona, and I think he's back in Colorado now. So it's kind of like a little homer team. But I mean, and Kalinsky, he's like Rafu, right? When it's like very mechanical and solid, like just he's precision built, precision all day, and you got to give it to him. I mean, to take out Kalinsky, dude,
Yeah.
that just builds your street cred instantly. Like, dude, I want to match against Bill Kalinsky. Yeah, I'm awesome.
I'm good to go.
That's what you should take away from that.
Yeah, and Carvajalis, of course, is
Yeah.
no
So like
joke
that.
either. That's a real one
Oh
right
my
there.
gosh.
That dude's a real one.
Holy cow.
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
And I mean, like you look at that whole tournament, and I looked at and I said, "Wait a minute, this is the qualifier." Yeah, this is the quali.
Yeah.
These names, I'm like, these are. I see these. I announce these in semis and quarterfinals all the time. I'm like,
Mhm.
I know. I'm very familiar with the entire field on both sides.
Does
It
does
was.
does Sky does Skylar Del Sol have superpowers in Colorado?
Like, yo,
I
the
was at the
J2K,
mother.
don't
Let me tell you
mess with
something.
me.
I was at Motherlode last year, right? And
Yeah.
Skylar made the Motherlode finals with Christian Hoover, just small balling it.
Oh, dude, the Arizona
Like small balling
boys.
it, dude. Yeah, and that was nobody. Look, everyone respects Skylar. In fact, if we talked about like who has the best hands in the game, he's always going to be mentioned in the top three. But small balling all the way to the finals was very impressive.
Well, like what were we saying yesterday? Ronnie, out of
Oh,
we're
Ronnie
going to the
Gallo.
indoor game.
Yeah.
Ronnie, yeah, from Team Creole and
Hmm.
Marcus, and I'm like, dude, Marcus and Ronnie just sweat. Like Marcus is super nice, except for when you're competing against him,
Hmm.
and even then, he's a sportsman always. But you're like, his stock and his shirt says, yes, I'm this tall and I just blocked you. That's my favorite, dude. I'm like all day.
Yeah. Well, yeah. For anyone listening, Ronnie Gallo is he's a Haitian player out of New York, and he played 4-year player at Queens College, a very competitive Division II program. But he was also for an adult club team called Creole, and he had a T-shirt under his jersey. The guy's like 5'8", right? And he's blocking like 6'4" and 6'6" guys. So every now and then he'll pull his jersey up, and under the jersey is a shirt that says what, like, if I blocked you, get off the
No,
court or something like that.
yeah, I no, it's like, yes, I just blocked you. It's a set of hands right here, or it's like I'm this tall and I just blocked you. And by the way, he used to come up to Rochester for our like massive grass tournament.
Uh-huh.
It's nothing like Wapaka or the Dig coming up on the AVP America Tour. Not quite that big, but it was a few, maybe I want to say like 80, 90 nets
Yeah.
at the peak, but it was but Ronnie sitting there in the open division with Team Creole
Yeah.
and rock that shirt with no sleeves. I'm like, and dreads. I'm like, is this Alien versus Predator? I mean, that dude just
Yeah.
has some supernatural ability.
He- I was thinking like a Booker T moment, like WWE.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Tell me he didn't just say that. Yeah,
Like,
Ronnie's an amazing player, and at the time I was an active player, like as far as like top setters in New York City, if not New York State, he was always 1 or 1A. And when you hear about him and then you meet him, you're like, I thought you'd be bigger. There was always like this Roadhouse reference, like, I hear all these good
oh
things
yeah.
about you, and then you meet him in person. It's like, I thought you'd be bigger. And I guess when you hear about him and he's not big, he is in fact big in the metaphoric sense. So,
Well,
uh,
dude, he's big on the court and at the after parties. Let's be
yeah.
honest.
Yeah, and it's
Like,
it's amazing that you mentioned yesterday, because there's a 6 degrees of separation between him, me, Colin Henry, who played for Creole, also played with him at Queens College. Carlito is their coach, right? Then you got Tony Bonilla,
mhm.
who was a former head coach at New Paltz, and I think he's like the AD there now. And Tony played there, right? Elvis Rodriguez, David Jack, right? And now all of a sudden you have like all of these degrees of separations, which comes back to Mr. Dave
Yeah.
Shaw.
Well, I mean, well, and all those boys, like that's what they saw me when I started out announcing, and it was like, oh my gosh, I can get paid for this. Oh, sweet, because I was just always, I got forced into playing open by my tournament director because I was crew, and I'm like, what about me? He says, I'm a dude. What about me? He says, open. Am I 6'5"? Whether it's grass, beach, indoor, whatever. I'm like, all right.
Right.
And well, it makes my life easy. We have 19 open teams. Now we got 20. So 4 courts of 5. You're playing open. So
Yeah.
I'd be done by 1, have a couple of free beers for the crew beers, and be like, all right, guess I'll be on the mic. And I guess it went well because that led to a lot of serendipity. And, I let the fates guide me, man. It's like
Yeah.
I've
How did
gotten some great opportunities and great experiences, and it just kind of was happenstance.
What was your first announcing gig? Like, how did you get started with all this? Someone's like, did someone come up to you and say, "Geez, I love your voice. You got the gift of gab." Uh, um,
So
let's
I started
let's.
work, I started working for USA Volleyball, which I do our muni events, and like even our big technically men event, which had like you know close to 100 nets or somewhere in that ballpark, between 50 and 100 on the regular basis. And I was funny. I would do positive beratement, do my shtick. I'm trying not to make a total embarrassment of myself, but after because I was done playing early, so at one weekend my boss was like, "Hey, I saw you're not in the schedule. Um, can you be down at the beach?" I said, "Well, I can. I got something going on, but I could come down, set up, and then do my thing, and then come back and tear down if you need help with crew." He goes, "No, no, no. I wanted you on the microphone." I'm like, "Oh." He goes, "Yeah, I'll pay you." I'm like, "Wait, this? I thought I was just doing it to have fun." All right. So I ended up doing that, and then I got asked by a couple of D3 colleges, like with great programs like Springfield, Baruch, and Nazareth College up here in Rochester. They hosted a preview to the Final Four and asked if I would announce it and commentate it. I said sure, and then that
And
went really
Nazareth
well.
was the
I
host
think the
that
first
year, right? Was Nazareth
for
the host that
Nazareth,
year?
yep,
Yeah.
yep. And I did one before that where they brought in like this is what West Coast volleyball and what NCAA should look like. Because Cal had some connections, and Cal, the head coach at Nazareth, used to be my club coach back in the day. And so he goes, "Hey man, we're gonna do the D3 Final Four here in Rochester." Well, it's also he didn't tell me this, but it was also a showcase for USA Volleyball to get statisticians, line judges, up and down ref certified, and all that, scorekeepers to go and do all the USA events for USA Volleyball. Well, he's like, "Hey, you want to do this?" I said, "Sure, Cal." So a couple of weeks, maybe a month goes by, maybe two, and all of a sudden I get a phone call, and it's Cal going, "Hey, man, do you want to do the Final Four thing at Nazareth?" I go, "Yeah, sure." "When was that?" He goes, it's at 6. I go, "As in like 45 minutes from now?" He's like, "Yeah." I go, "Apparently he had hired somebody else. They had a conflict." And I go in and I do my thing, and it's Springfield, and I'm just, I'm having fun and, being a little bit more body or sophomoric, so to say, like I would treat my, you know, muni tournaments, like, "Oh, the Springfield coach dressed up like Spalding from Caddyshack." And I love that the Springfield middle looks like Ron Burgundy, except for a more porn style stash. I'm like, "Oh, big swing from the porn stash." And
Oh
I'm like,
man.
stuff I would never say now.
No, but how did
You
Charlie
know,
take that?
but I was camping, having fun, and oh, dude, Charlie, I think was not a fan because he looked down and was like, "I'm wearing the exact outfit that Spalding wore in Caddyshack for dinner, like the khaki, the blue coat, the exact same shirt, and he had the haircut." And I'm like, "All right, just hey, don't be mad at me."
Thank you. How you not supposed to say something about that?
But by the way, I had college kids. People drove up from New York City to watch this. It was all the kids from Nazareth itself and on all the volleyball community. So I mean, that gym was, elbow to elbow. There was not you couldn't slide a piece of paper between between people. It was like that packed. And anyway, so they have all these people. I'm like, man, this is a big crew of officiating for this. And I found out it was a demo for the people up in the private suite up on the top there that was USA Volleyball.
Huh.
So, all right, USA comes down and they hired one person from that event.
Shaw, baby.
So I look at Cal going, "Bet you're glad that you didn't have the other guy here," because so the guy, like one of the people from USA Volleyball comes up and goes, "Any interest in doing boys junior nationals?" I'm like, "Sure. All right, we'll send you some information. Da, 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 da. The next one is going to be this or that." I go, "All right, sure." From that, I did that for about 9-10 years, and great. When I started doing it, the production value was very high. I felt like the kids got a big return on their investment. And whenever I do something like that, like any event I do, it's not about me ever. I want to make sure that whether you came in first place and got a gold medal and you're 15, or if you came in TFL, dead fantastically last, that you feel like $1,000,000. And I do everything I can. And I don't care if you got to play 2 minutes or if you played every minute of every set. I want to make you feel like $1,000,000. And a testament to me was, because I never say, "Oh, here's your champions," and snub everybody else. When on award podiums, I would do the presentations going, "All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring out our championship teams." Because whether you got a gold medal or a bronze, dude, young man, you're a champion. You made it. And like I see kids with broken hearts, I go, "Pick your head up." Pick your head up. Be proud of how you played. It could have turned out different, but be proud in how you played. Because the team that didn't make it here wishes they were you.
Right. I agree. Yep.
My parents coming up that me. And then Mike Griffin found me from Seaside fame and Bad Boys Up Volleyball. He was coaching at Junior Nationals. I think it might have been Columbus, maybe 2017. And he goes, "Hey, man, you ever hear of Seaside?" I said, "The largest beach volleyball tournament in the world?" "No, never heard of it." "Why? What's up?" And he laughed. And I go, "They were looking for a new announcer." And then working with John King and John Rodriguez, and got noticed by AVP America and Wayne and Carly Gant. And, saw like Ryan, like I was at ease instantly when I saw J.D. Hamilton and Ryan Meehan on my court, and I'm sitting there chirping Meehan, going, "Ooh, Meehan serves into the net. Let's see if it works out for him." Nope, no, that's going to be a point for the other team. And now we're switching sides. And then like Jeremy's like, "Whoa." I go, no, we got that relationship. He goes, "I would never do that to you because I don't know you like that."
Right.
Now, oh yeah, I could chirp Jeremy all day, because K-Spear won. Good people. He knows that if I do anything like that, it's gonna be playful, but I'm gonna make his about. Jeremy, please put a shirt on. You're accidentally body shaming me. I know that a lot of people have a 97 pack of abs. Oh wait, no, it's just you. Thank you. Please put a shirt on. I'm feeling insecure. I'll do something like that to Jeremy because he puts the work in. But
Yeah.
with JD Hamilton, my favorite JD Hamilton moment when we first met each other, and I just set the tone and just like I chided his partner, so now I'm going to go after him. And my comment was, "Hey, JD Hamilton, long flowing Tennessee waterfall mullet and perfect goatee." JD's actually still very upset with the casting leadership at MTV for snubbing him and not putting him on the Florida Bama Shore. And like legit, you could feel the crowd go like listening, and then just go. Everybody in the entire like Seaside Berm Stadium court just went whoop, and like checked it and did a double take and go, "Oh yeah, I totally see it." Well, the CEO of Seaside comes up and goes, "I had no idea he was an actor too. I mean, so he really was going to be on Florida Bama Shore?" I go, "No, I was just
No.
BSing. I was just
You
having fun." And
Jesus Christ, you dorks.
no. But that was Brian, and Brian's like, "Dude, you sounded dead serious." I go, "Oh, I know I did," and I was trying to sell it, but JD just went. He's in serve receive, and you just see him chuckle and like hang his head for a second,
Mhm.
and then he just goes. He puts one hand across the chest here, other arm in the air, like, "Yep, that was me. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, appreciate the kind words." But
Mhm.
that's what's great about this sport and my job is, for the most part, like, I mean, I've yet to find many assholes that are of this caliber, of the caliber of play, that are on tour. So it's like you got good people, they do good things, and when you engage with them, or you can have some fun. Like Ed Ratledge was always amazing for banter and play. Ed Ratledge, hands down, whether he's doing, whether he's killing it or whether he makes an error, the banter and play off the announcer and the crowd engagement, that dude, that was like pro wrestling. Like
Yeah.
legit helped me get crowd engagement. And Ratledge, I can't say enough about. Like there was, I think it was like maybe 2 years ago, he had a miss hit on a serve. He hit like maybe 2 feet above the ground at the pole pad for center court. And he looked at his hand like, "What just happened?" And I literally just went, "Ed, I, I just I don't know what to say here. I don't know what to say." And he starts like throwing a couple of lines out there. The entire crowd in Michigan was laughing, like having a time. Like, dude, it was like a party or a conversation. They all got invited to it, and you just saw those seats fill up in Michigan. And it was a rainy, gnarly day. It wasn't like hey, let's go to the beach day. It was like, yo, let's stay inside. Let's make cocoa. It was a rainy, kind of miserable day, but because of that interaction, people started filing in from everywhere and just come down and watch it.
Right. Hey, listen.
And that's
Yeah. No, go ahead.
what up, dude.
No, before we steered too far away from Jeremy Casper, I just wanted to recommend for the people watching
Oh yeah,
Match of the Year in 2018. It's on YouTube. Check it out, guys. Casper and Reed Pretty versus Alvaro and Simon. It was a Huntington Beach like AVPFIVB co-promotion. Strongly recommend that match as far as like one of Jeremy Casper's most exciting matches, and he's had plenty of them. I've had the pleasure of
yeah.
coaching against him. Him and Billy Allen when I was coaching Samuels and Chris Vaughn. I thought that was a lot of fun too. But I recommend that match 2018, and it goes against Alvaro and Simon. Excellent match. Now, I wanted to get back to your versatility, but you have a thought. So go ahead.
No, I'm just wondering because if we're gonna stack case beer matches, like if we're on straight up wins, like that's like going, all right,
Well, I'm not going
pick
to
your
tell
favorite
everybody who
kid.
won. I'm not going to tell them who won.
All right, well,
Eh,
because I look at it going Seaside 2018, I think was it that it was case beer and Roberts
that was a
versus
good one.
in the championship again, championship against Eric Zahn and Avery Drost.
That was really good.
Yeah, dude, Zahn and Drost, like, dude,
Yeah.
one, I know it's on like the memorial video that the GOAT Geeter,
Hmm.
announced, and oh, dude, that one right there, and you just look at
That
the
was
blocking prowess
18, right? That
alone.
was 18.
Yeah, I believe it was,
Right.
but it might have been 17, might have been 18, but yeah. But you see, like, just in some of the net cam shots where you see Case Beer, and he's his clavicle is at the top of the tape, or he's like the tape's like right here on some of his blocks, and you see his extension and that perfect pike. It's like textbook execution of piking while blocking, and I'm like, is this a how-to video?
It's pretty
It's
cool.
and you see, and you talk about great hands. Adam Roberts, dynamo of the tour, and you see like that one there. I just thought was some of Adam's best sets, and
Yeah.
great defense.
Also, congratulations to Adam Roberts being inducted into the Pottstown Rumble Hall of Fame. I went there. I went there early, just to pay my respects to Mark Burek and Hudson Bates. But what I didn't know is that Adam Roberts was part of that class, and an old friend of mine named Lauren, um, who spent a lot of time in New York, was also in that Hall of Fame class, and that was pretty cool.
Uh, oh, dude, I gotta say, isn't he also in the? For since we're coming up to Wapaka this weekend, isn't Adam Roberts also in the Hall of Fame at Wapaka?
Should be. I don't know. I do
I know
know
he's
that
won it like 3 times.
I know that him and Jeff took a third there, or a second. No, they took second and lost to Cook or someone, right? That was last year. It was Jeff Samuels and
Yeah,
Adam Roberts, yeah, which
and
got him a bid for Manhattan Beach.
yeah, and the granddaddy of them all, the bid is at Wapaka this weekend. I mean, that's
Mhm.
a big deal. And the only qualifier for Chicago this year is at Virginia Beach, which, TVA, Tidewater Volleyball Association, Dexter and Chris do an amazing job there. So
God
that
bless.
Virginia Beach in early August, that's going to be the only qualifier. The only way to get to Chicago is to play at Virginia Beach.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. And last year it was Huntington Beach, which I found rather bizarre, but and everyone got caught on some not ready stuff. But I was really proud of Caleb Quakel. Like
Oh,
he was figuring out if he's going to be a full time defender or a blocker, and he did really well. They beat Kalinsky and Marek, and Salila Tucker and DJ
oh
we're small
yeah.
balling it, and I think they've kind of been together ever since. They've kind of they like that relationship, and huge. Talk about match of the tournament. How about the match they had with Cook and Caldwell, with Sean Cook and Caldwell, just in
Right.
Denver? Like
Well, I mean, and
like
also
almost
you
every
saw,
match. I hate to go back to Denver, but it seemed like every match we were like match of the tournament, match of the tournament,
yeah.
match of the tournament, match of the tournament. What?
Well, I mean, you could tell by the crowds, like the crowd that was filling in, and it was like and they have that stadium. They way that Tom designed that, so they have like the seats built into the walls of the court around. So you have like all these different stadium seating. It was 9 people for qualies. It was 10 people deep for a pre-final. Like it was like not even it was the round of 16. And all right, first round of playoffs, second round of playoffs. People are like mad deep. And again, the names in this tournament in Denver are, I'm going, they go, is it a good tournament? I said, I think like the top 10 earners on tour or domestically are here, if not more. And they're like, really? I said, yeah. There were so many great players there. And I'm talking like you mentioned, Caleb Quakel. And that kid has always impressed me, both from a great person and a gentleman, but two, his playing ability. And he's been at qualies and making the grade on the grass tour and the beach tour for a few years now, and he just turned 21. Just And I'm like,
You want to hear something cool? I go to the qualifier. They have like food, they're everyone's sitting at tables and eating food. So I joined Caleb Quakel and Dylan Zaka, right? And they're sitting
oh
by
yeah.
themselves and they're looking at each other. And so I sit between them and I'm like, hey, so Caleb, who you playing tomorrow? And he's like, I'm playing him. And Daka's like, yeah, we're playing each other. And I'm like, so that's why you two are
Oh
staring.
yeah.
So that's why you two are staring, sitting there eating food and staring at each other. I think I'm going to go sit somewhere else. I'm like, is this like an eating and staring competition? They're supposed
Well,
to
dude,
play each other.
they've been they were partners for like 3 years,
Right.
and I think they're both the same age. Dude, funniest thing ever. So Haley Harward,
Yeah.
so one of my favorites because that big smile and everything else. But I call her my wish list because I go, her arms, I want those. Those are on my wish list. I just want to do all the work that she does because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
But I think it was Denver last year, and I was like, oh my gosh, you got like eyes like Dylan Zaka. I go, if you guys ever got together and had a kid, I swear that kid could just stare into people's souls from like across the country, like because they both have these phenomenal like gorgeous eyes. They're eye colored like the hue. I'm going Dylan Zaka. I think
Yeah.
you could see his eyes in the dark. I mean, for real.
Yeah.
And then they started dating, and I'm like, oh my gosh, foot and mouth. I guess there you go. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, intuition.
Yep.
But I'm like, but again, Caleb and Zaka, partners for years and playing against each other. Oh, and
That
it's
was
like,
amazing. Yeah.
but they're such good people. It's not like I don't feel like there's any animosity or any strange or any awkwardness. Like, oh yeah, we're
No.
just gonna play with different people. Like, you know how that
No.
goes. It could be sometimes it's tumultuous.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm gonna go play with this person and it's not received well.
Right.
Those guys,
Well,
sweet as candy.
yeah. Well, listen, for the people listening to this conversation who thought we were only going to talk about like the top 5 players, uh, um, these are a
Yeah, we're gonna have
crew.
to go ahead and
These
edit a lot
are
of
a
this.
crew of extraordinary gentlemen. Like the 2 guys we just mentioned, Dylan Zaka and Caleb Quakel, top players. Bottom of the main draw, top of the qualifier. Even though Quakel and Jake took a ninth, and even though Quakel just won Pottstown, right? Beat Caldwell
Yeah.
and Uratia, right? And I speak for both of these guys when they're the kind of guy you want your daughter to date, but you don't want your son to fight. You know what I'm saying? They got this good old American boy thing going on. So question, if you could still hear me.
Yeah,
All right, so
I
my,
got you.
my next question to you is: when I look at announcers and I look at MCs and color commentators, I look at certain people that bring a certain niche, right? You look at Mark Truman; he's very polished, and he's one of those guys where his momentum, like he gets better
Oh
as the
yeah.
tournament goes on. You got Rob Aspero, that's kind of got like the game show thing going, but also this good indoor rhythm thing going, and then we have you, who is this absolute chameleon, this shapeshifter, someone that sees the environment, measures the environment, and says no problem. And the reason why, and respect to Rob Aspero, who I love and respect and I talk to, and respect to Mark Sherman, who I have a new respect for, because I just, after working with you and then running into him, I'm like, dude, I have a new respect for announcers now.
Yeah.
But with respect to those two, the thing that I think makes you the best MC out of all of them is it's almost a New York thing. Put us in bad spots, it's what we adapt to. We're in the building, plus we in
Yeah.
the map too. Put it in red tops, put it in capsules. The mecca of hip hop. This is the chapel, right? So, how is this something that just comes naturally to you? Because for me, everyone knows I'm a theater major, so they know I can just be and I could study a character and I can be anyone I want. So that's what made me a good announcer at Motherload, and that's what can make me a good announcer anywhere. But is this a natural ability that's not taught? Your ability to shape shift, because you're not being some. It's not like you're being someone you're not. You're all of these people.
Yeah.
You're just David Shaw, the class clown. You're David Shaw, the professional. You're Dave Shaw, the edgy guy, and all of them are you. Like Joe Rogan on a podcast, right? That's Joe Rogan,
Yeah.
but Joe Rogan, the UFC announcer, are different people, but that's the same person. So I'm not. I'm saying this carefully because I'm not trying to say that you're
No,
trying to be someone you're not.
Jay, you know, I got thick skin, and part of my job is to take like verbal abuse and banter, and that's, you know, and like, trust me, I mean, I don't do every job perfectly well. I mean, and yeah, it's about, I guess, reading the room. I've always been the cousin that comes with like a warning and an apology. It's like, okay, you're going to meet my cousin Dave. I'm really sorry because, you know, I am a chatterbox. But I mean, as far as entertaining and making others enjoy something or making others feel better or
Right.
whatever that, I guess it's, and also when somebody's not being their best selves or being on their best behavior, or like, yo, if mom and dad could see you right now, are they gonna be proud of you? You know, like, what are we making good choices? Like, I'll bring that out, or like, hey, the boss, hey, we got to be on time, we got to do this. And there's been times I've, you know, been too curt or been, hey, people go, yo, man, you all right? Everything okay with you? And it's like, no, I just was told to bark at people, make sure they're on time. And I got a bunch of courts running late, which means my crew's running late, which means I'm not, you know, my 12-hour day is going to be a 16-hour
Yeah,
day.
and you
So
might
I
be a
got to, you know,
prisoner of the moment. Right.
right. And I mean, trust me, there's times I do this and that. But again, I think I've always had the ability to make a fool out of myself as long as I'm in control of it. If I'm embarrassed or put in you're the center of attention and it's not on my terms, or like happy birthday, singing happy birthday to me, if it's my birthday, it makes my skin crawl a little bit. Like I'm like uncomfortable because, yeah, I'm the center of attention, but it's not because of me doing something or performing to make, you know, draw attention to something else. Like, hey, I'll be the good guy, bad guy, whatever you need me to be, as long as everybody at this event has an awesome time, loves their experience, etc. I've always been a talkative kid. I've always been like, you know, a little bit. I love to laugh. I love stand-up comedy. I love to make people laugh, and that I think is my biggest addiction is when I can make somebody laugh. Or, but that's why I laugh at my own jokes because I'm also hearing it for the seem like I'm more comfortable. You good?
Right. Yeah. No, I got that.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
laugh at yourself. I mean, Dave, I'd like to say this. You are the only announcer that I've ever met in my life where I never had to ask myself, is he the guy for the job? All right. I'll give you an example. I was at Pottstown Rumble and I was listening to those two MCs or whatever, and they had some people join them or whatever.
Luke and Rob.
Now,
Dude.
they are the only MCs that I saw them talking smack during play, like during between whistles, not between plays, but they're actually talking crap between whistles, and it works for them. And listen, they are a lot of things, but professional is not one of them. Okay, I would never call those guys professional, which I found weird because there are a lot of people that talking about my professionalism. I was like, dude, I thought I fit in Pottstown like a glove, but they were the best man for the job for that environment. And I'm getting somewhere with this. So bear with me on this one, right? I see Sherman, Manhattan Beach. I see Sherman in Chicago or whatever. And I see him there and I'm like, you know what? He's the best man for that job. I see Rob on the mic, right? Rob Aspero, who's got an amazing following. I mean, I had 54,000 views the first time I had him on my podcast. And I'm like, who are these Filipinos following you, right? So, but I see him doing the UC Irvine games, right? And I pointed that guy and I'm like, boom, best man for the job. You are the first. And so far, one of the only people, certainly in the sport of volleyball, maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment and there are people for other sports. You're the only guy where no matter what environment they put you in, I never have to ask myself if you're the best guy for the job or not. You shapeshift. You see it, you adapt. I met you in New Orleans, all right? I mean, we'd known each other, but I really got a chance to like get to know you. AVP 2021, New Orleans in June. That was just an amazing job. And that was like the time of my life. And there is no small part of that. Like for me personally and professionally, that was one of my favorite moments. I've had bigger moments.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Now I have bigger moments, but because it's New Orleans and it's the night lights, the night lights, the environment, the home team playing for the crown, right? TKN playing for the crown, Evan Corey playing for the crown. Yeah. But a lot of that had to do with you keeping me company. That was great.
Jay, I got to give you I got to give you credit. Like, you know, people throw shade, and one, you're so refined. You are very polished. You have an insanely high volleyball IQ. You also, I mean, you're a homer guy because you speak with passion. You had these great relationships, stories to fall back on. And I gotta say, it's impressive that not only are you doing, play by play, but you're adding color at a level most people, and you speak from experience. So it's like, and again, Mark Sherman, phenomenal. And also, like, you want to talk about amazing memory and retention. I got the chance to meet him in Chicago. I talked to leadership and I said, hey, I get spoiled by being on stage and on the court for all of these tour series events. I want to go courtside for gold, but I don't know if I can afford one of those cabana things. And they're going, and they took care of me, got me a pass and everything. Walk up to Mark, I go, man, I wish you were bad at your job. I go, and he goes, or a jerk, right? I go, yeah, you're like crazy nice and accommodating to me, And I'm like, but I mean, I look at it like this. Mark Sherman is like Jim Nantz for the Masters, and I'm like Happy Gilmore for, I'm going to make sure everybody has a good time. Going to be kind of, even if you want to go, hey, I'm just going to make fun of this on me, great. If you want to go toe to toe, trust me, I'll put the mic down and we can go Pottstown after dark, But I mean, Luke and Rob, mad professional. Luke and Rob from Pottstown, you catch him at Pottstown, they play the role. They play that Pottstown role. You get them outside of Pottstown, still great announcers, still great, great voices and what have you. But it's a different level because you're not going to call a juniors event like you do Pottstown finals 2:30 in the morning.
Right. I've never seen anything like them too, for like that environment and the way they do that. There's no two MCs that can actually get away with that and not have the players angry at them. They find a way to do that, and I guess that's a gift too. And also they've been doing that since 2018, and it was, I was just happy that everything worked out because they thought I was going to be emceeing with them, and they were just like, "Oh no, he's not," and I was like, "Oh no, I'm not." Right? I didn't come here to do that. I said I heard these guys last year and the year before that and the year before that. Are you trying to get me killed? You know what I'm saying? No, but Dave, can we do that? We both know I could do whatever I want. Period. Right? I can go in any environment or whatever, and I can MC, I could color commentate, and I'm actually one of the only handful of people that could do play and color and survive, right? Most of those guys need a setup guy or whatever, and this and that. But with that being said, I saw them last year and the year before, all the way back to 2018, I'm like, man, why are you trying to break up a happy home? What do you Ken Cass, what are you doing? So they hooked it up where I did what I did and they did what they did and everybody was happy.
What? And I mean, people have said, hey man, why don't you do Pottstown? I go, first of all, Luke and Rob are part of the experience. They're banter, they're chirping. It's like, and also I go, it probably is because they're so close to Philly. It's like, hey, you've heard about the Philly fans and everything else and how they'll heckle and berate or, whatever. But they do it from a place of love because there's a big, Western New York, New York, Pennsylvania tournament. Yeah, people fly in from all over the country to go play in it because it's like, it is the Pottstown Rumble. But you got to remember, Luke and Rob are staples of that community and the volleyball community especially. And you know what? Players watching it growing up and everything else, or players watching and, hey, now I'm out of college. I'm going to go play in the Rumble. Their goal is to get noticed by them. Noticed enough to get, all right, I'm going to come at him. I'm going to, I'm going to roast him. And it's like a comedy roast / volleyball tournament / fraternity party almost, or sorority party almost, because they play until 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning.
Thank you. Like, and they're at it. They lose their voices. Yeah. Night 2, you hear them losing their voice a little bit, and then they get that second and third win, and these guys go through it. Dude, that's not replaceable. That's not replaceable.
One year I just brought a monster bag of Hall's, the Hall
He's been
citrus, and I went, boom,
a
dropped it on the
master
table, going,
bag.
"This helps me." And I can't imagine. And the guy sounded like Joe Cocker. Yeah, man, thanks a lot. That was great. And I'm like, yo, because they were up, dude. They worked from the afternoon shift,
Uh-huh.
and I left, dude. I left because
Actually, let's hold that thought, Mark, for 20 seconds, because we're out and we're going to be back in. I do not want to miss this part. Hold that thought.
all right, I only planned and contracted for 12 to 14 hours. Or I said I think I contracted for 12 hours of broadcasting. Not like I'm doing sound and emceeing. I'm just doing broadcast. So 12 hours should cover any tournament day. Uh, and it was nonstop. And it was like around 1:30 or 2 in the morning. I'm like, bro, we're in hour 15. I got to hang it up if you want me back here at 8 a.m. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. And, but I go, Luke and Rob, dude, I think they might have slept. If they slept at all, they slept in those chairs on the stage. So I'm like, you talk about dynamos. We're all good at certain parts of our job, right? Like when it comes to broadcast, MC, everything else. I mean, I can't take anything away from Mark Sherman. Like, I enjoy
And
what I
neither do
do.
I.
I enjoy having the freedom and also not like, I don't want to fit into any kind of mold. And I feel like if I was at Mark's level and there was a more expectation on me, I may not have as much fun because it may be where, hey, Dave, we need you to dial down.
Right.
Maybe not so passionate, maybe not so outlandish, or adding, the not even the banter, but like some of the just, hey, Dave, you always wear those stupid, crazy jackets. We need you to dial that down. Or, hey, Dave, we need because I've worked main draw events before, in the past, and I heard from a production crew. They were like, hey, man, some of the players felt that the crowd was listening to your quiz
Yeah, I
or
remember we talked about that.
your commentary more than the actual focusing on the play. So
I like
right,
that. Let me guess.
you
Who did they lose? That's what you were saying.
yeah, like did they lose, or was it the losers or the winners that said it? And he didn't say nothing, and I'm like, all right. And I said, fine, I'll go more straight laced and streamlined, and I did. And I mean, it was good. It was, it was good, but it was no different than anybody else, and no different. There was nothing special about me versus, another great, play-by-play or color guy that might live closer or be more accessible, whatever, or have a better resume than me. So if I'm not standing out and being myself, I read that I vow to go, yo, if you love me, or no, if I'm going to lose a job, I'm going to lose a job because of me, not because of who I tried to change into to fit somebody else. Like, yo, if you hate me, bring it. I'm finally secure enough where I have zero to give.
Yeah.
I'm great at being hated. I got an ex-wife. Trust me, I get it. I hate me too sometimes.
I want to make two very important points, and bear with me on this one, okay?
Of course.
One, I mentioned you're the best MC I've ever seen in my life in this sport. And for the audience listening, I want to be very clear that me exalting this gentleman here is not a slap in the face to everybody else who's putting in the hard work. It doesn't mean I dislike Mark Sherman. It doesn't mean I think he's inferior or whatever. This is just a celebration to who I think is the best MC in the business. That's one. Two, the reason why you chose your path this way is because the same people that steer you to try to be like everybody else, when you do it that way, in the end, these are the same people that are going to say what makes you different from everybody else. So there's a challenge and there's a catch-22 that comes with that. And I promise you 2 points, but now I'm going to make a third one. You're not an idiot, okay? I'm not an idiot. I have symptoms of intelligence, right? So what you do, if you saw Chicago last year and you saw Chicago the year before, and they wanted you to do Chicago this year, you already know how to measure that environment and how to be a different Dave Shaw. Okay, this whole notion that people see that you're edgy and say that's your jam, fine, that might be your jam, but to suggest that's all you're about and that's the only thing you can do is intellectually lazy on some people's part. So I sound like I'm going off on this spiel, but and I felt like I was going somewhere. But these are three very important points I wanted to make. You see the environment. You're not an idiot. You know how to do it if you've seen what it looked like the last 2 years.
And I've done the professional, like super refined, MC.
You've done it all.
Engagement.
But that's my point.
I've done it for minor league hockey. I did it for National Lacrosse League. I've done it for corporate events. I've done it when you're sitting there to a sales organization and you're their presenter. You don't sit there and get all bawdy and no, I'm in a suit and I'm sitting there and it's a different way of presenting it. But again, and it's like you said, if you're giving me a compliment, it's not defaming anybody else. Like if you go, by the way,
I know those people. I just want to just shut up, man.
Yeah,
man. That's a slap in the face to him. No, just shut up, dude.
No.
Shut up.
And by the way, if I say Jordan's the best, I'm not saying LeBron is a bum. I'm saying, by the way, of these groups, these amazing athletes, these pinnacle of their profession. By the way, these mother effing amazing rock star athletes. I have to give, in my opinion. My tip is like, Jordan might be 1,000.00001.
Right.
And LeBron might be 1,000.00001. Sorry.
1A.
If I think Dave Shaw's the best, it doesn't mean that I'm saying, he bodies everybody. No, Dave has a different, unique passion or whatever he does to engage a crowd. Or, by the way, he'll do the DJ, the sound engineer, MC, promotions director, broadcast simultaneously, but he doesn't run out of energy by hour 17. What? How? And I'm like, unique form of schizophrenia and ADD as hell. Sorry. I don't know what it is. And I say
theater performance, baby. Marymount Manhattan.
There you go.
I think I played at a Dave Shaw on TV.
Well, Jay, and dude, there's an up-and-comer, by the way, and I'm hoping he's going to be doing Virginia Beach because I'm going to be in Manheim, Pennsylvania for the grass tour. And that's Jacob Justice, and he did the broadcast with me 2 years ago. And he's a crew member, but he was cutting his chops as a broadcaster. But
does he play?
Yeah, dude, his brother John Justice plays too.
Oh, that's right. John Justice played with Todd Register. I remember in New Orleans.
And Tristan Register. There you go. Tristan and Jacob played in New Orleans that year that we announced. But I'll tell you this. He also does a lot of the Florida State games in Jackson. He was doing remote broadcasts for Jacksonville. He was doing like Florida State's in stands, kind of like what I do, and up and comer. And, he's a little bit, if you use the spectrum of Big Rob, myself, you, and, come on, Mark Sherman, and Mark Sherman was like one on the spectrum, me at the other. I'd say Jacob's a little more towards Mark Sherman because he's a little bit more, he has fun and everything else, but he is, I'm the wild child. And I'm all right with that. And Mark Sherman, and again, I'm not defaming anybody. Everyone's got their talents and their skill set. And I love what I do. Yeah, I think I'm damn good. But I like to have fun. And you know what? There are things I can do better, but I love to do the work, man. I love this job. I mean, I've met some great people.
Yeah.
And,
Well, you're also smart enough to know that it's up to the audience to decide who they like the most, right? That's why I allowed myself the liberty of being an audience member for you for this moment. I certainly didn't mean to put you on the spot, right? But it's not like we're hater creators, right?
Right.
You know what a hater creator is? Hold on a second, Mark. You know what a hater creator is? April Ross, right? Wins the 2020 gold with Alex Kleinman. Mm-hmm. A hater creator will say Alex is the GOAT, right? As soon as she wins the gold medal, they say she's the GOAT. And you know what that does? That invites people to say, well, I don't know about that. I still think Misty May is. And as soon as you say someone else, oh my God, you can't let her have her moment, right? You're a hater. You can't let this woman have their moment. I'm like, no. You can't let her have her moment. You couldn't just say great win. You had to say GOAT. You're the one that had to say GOAT. right? So there's a difference between being a hater and combating a hater creator, right? Every time LeBron
Yep.
wins an NBA championship, what do they say? What do the pundits say in the
Jordan,
morning? Greatest of all time,
Jordan.
right? No, but that's no. They say the reason why Jordan even comes up, Dave. The reason why
Yep.
Jordan
I
even
know.
comes up is because these charlatans have to say GOAT and then accuse you when you bring up Jordan saying you can't let them have their moment. No, you
Right.
you jerk off. You can't let them have
Well,
their moment. You gotta say GOAT. Come on,
and
GOAT.
then and then they're gonna go, yo, what about freaking Gary Payne? What about you're like, yo, everyone, what about Bird? What about Johnson? It's like, guys, if you're trolling to make this a topic of conversation where everyone gets to offer an
Right.
opinion, yeah, you're winning. If you're gonna feed into that, and dude, like I say, if you get, you know what, take any negative comment when there's an archived thing. Yeah, I do. I'm guilty of it. I'll go through a former broadcast, see what I could learn from, what I could do better, and I try not to look at the comments because people will throw a big pile of dog shit from the cheap seats. But if you if you get 10 negative comments,
it's still
take that as a tenth of a negative comment.
right.
You know, and the other side is if you get a compliment in there ever, take that as 5,000 compliments because that, you know what, if one person actually typed in a compliment, I guarantee 5,000 people were thinking it. And you know what? If somebody types in a comment and it's just super gnarly and negative, I go, "Oh, did somebody need to be a victim today and get snubbed?" It's like, how can I make this world about me? And it's like, oh, you want to inject yourself into a situation that has nothing to do with you, and you couldn't do that today. All right, you're just gonna go throw hate out from a mess. Don't
Yeah.
feed into the bullshit.
Yep.
But if it's constructive, once in a while you find a constructive one. I always learn, and trust me, when I'm pulled into multiple directions or I'm trying to MC while broadcasting, I know that I could definitely do a better job. And there was a compliment. Somebody was like, about to chirp me going, I don't think his mic's on. And it was Huntington Huntington Beach.
Year,
I want
right?
to say,
Yeah.
at the end of in the October area.
Yeah,
right?
like 2 years ago, like 22 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one dude's like, I don't think his mic's on. And then literally I watched the guy who didn't seem very over the top with, or like not very, he's like, oh, why don't we have Mark here? Why didn't we make this a real event? Why do we have this guy? And I was like, okay. And then the guy went, wait a minute, is he doing the broadcast and the PA and in-house announcement? Yeah. How? Because I had my mics and I was sitting there and I tried to make it so my PA wouldn't catch the broadcast and the broadcast wouldn't catch the PA, but I had both hit, made an X or like a cross with the mics. And when people that start hating and then go with, oh, I didn't realize how difficult that was. I couldn't imagine having two simultaneously conversations and or things and not flub it up. And
Right.
watching that is a testament where I feel somebody that doesn't know me, someone's not familiar with my work, and goes from, kind of vocally a little bit of hate to appreciate. Like, all right, I like that.
A bar. Sorry, one of my bars that run through, so you could finish that thought because you did mention at the end that when they see the whole body of work and when they're not looking for just like the worst moment in the beginning, they stick with it, and all of a sudden they see this quality person who's multitasking.
I mean, like you, Jay, when you do a broadcast and you're adding insight, and they're like, "Oh, I had no idea that Rafu won San Francisco AVP in 2016 with Ratledge. Oh, I had no idea that you coached him from the sidelines, and that was one of your first coaching things."
Yeah.
So those little insights that add depth and quality
McCulloch,
to a broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
and that level. If some people go, "Oh, would you shut up about these stories?" Everyone, by the way, you impact more than somebody that just wants to be irritated because that's how they decided to live life that day.
Right.
That whole mentality of what we add carries over to our peers in this industry. Like you look at Mark Sherman, his retention and like that dude Like you can study a playbook. That dude studies the playbook from every player, their family, their I mentioned Therese Cannon out of Rochester, New York. Dude, I used to announce her when she was in high school and for her senior nights, and I think it was her little sister that gave her the nickname Tree. Mark goes, really, that's cool. Hey Dave, which sister was it? Was it Brett or Brett? And I'm like, I've known her or known her, but not like tight for a bunch of years because she was a juniors and played down at the beach. Her coach is a good buddy of mine. But off the cuff, Mark was like, hey, her youngest sister is her middle sister. Which one was it? And I'm like, okay, Mark, respect.
Yeah.
Off the cuff, not looking at crib notes, just knowing his job, his people that he's announcing. It was like he memorized the playbook for each player to speak intelligently to any aspect. And that kind of, I'm like, all right, Mark Sherman.
Yeah. No,
You know what?
Mark is also a Northridge guy too. So
Oh,
he's one of those guys that kind of came up with a certain generation of people. Like if you consider Northridge, right, the lineage of people and the degrees of separation from Ty Tremblay, Billy Allen, Marty Lawrence, right, Greg Faulkner,
yeah,
who's
dude.
like the J Check. How about you like that name from Brighton High School in Queens, J Check,
Oh, dude.
7 foot
What about
tall.
Greg Faulkner? I'm going, I loved his kid and play at one point when he was playing PBL.
Yeah,
Oh,
the kid and
dude, I'm like,
play.
yo, I'm
Yeah.
gonna start calling you Pencil Top. What's up, dude? Let's do this. No, but Greg Faulkner, a great player, great personality too.
Yeah. I was also
True
glad to
gentleman,
see Sherman and Kim Smith together because Kim seems like a
dude.
nice person. Mark seems like a nice person. And me, I just like nice people to be with each other. I
Dude,
would I would have hate for like Kim or Mark to wind up with like a jerk, you know?
I'm a little mad at Kim Sherman because, and then we're like, and she's like, well, I go, you gonna get out there for the staff game, after we're done setting up, and it was like, I think it was like 2 events ago. She's like, oh no, 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 no. I go, she goes, yeah, I was never that good of a player, and King at John King, the King, great to work with, by the way, amazing. And she goes, Kim, what was, she goes, maybe, I go, I think it was like my top finish was like sixth at Manhattan Beach. And I go, I love that you're poo pooing coming in sixth place in the granddaddy of them all to a crew that loves this game and would literally have it carved and chiseled into granite, placed in our front yard, as well as tattooed across our chest. Took six at Manhattan Beach. And you're like, it wasn't that strong of a finish. I
Jeez.
go,
Yeah.
don't downplay that. I go, I would be so damn proud of that. And but I'm only mad because she's a competitor, but she's very humble,
Yes, but that's a
I would
good
have been,
problem. Like you just said, that's one of
yeah.
those good problems.
And I'm like, no, she's a sweetheart. I only joke around about being mad at her, but I'm just like, I was like super jealous. I'm like, Kim, you want to know what I would do if I could, in earnest, say that, hi, yes, Dave Shaw plays sixth at Manhattan Beach. And I don't care when it was. I don't care if it was COVID and no one, I was the only person out there, but somehow, fine with that. I'll own that. But I get to say I took six at Manhattan, you know. But Kim is super humble, and me, I'm a chatterbox, but she's been a delight and very helpful. This is my first year working with her. But yeah, I'm like, Mark, you lucky son of a gun. She's awesome.
She really is. She's a sweetheart, and I've gotten to coach against her. I think she was coaching for Wave or something like that when I was coaching Endless Summer
Okay.
at juniors. Because at that time I was a 3-year coach with Beach Volleyball National Events. Deron Forbes. She had a club called Endless Summer, and that was me and Pompilio. Andrew Dentler, Jeff Samuels, Rob McLean, just a great crew of coaches. Miles Evans was with us for a little bit. So remember we were talking about different zip codes. This dude's from Heo, this dude's from Flint. This is a dirty New
Mm-hmm.
Yorker. McLean, Long Beach, California. What's his name's a gaucho, right? Dentler's from Pennsylvania. Miles Evans is a hippie and a gaucho. That's what I call him, the
Oh yeah.
hippie.
Don't
Yeah.
discount the banana slugs either, man. Come on.
Oh, that's right. I met Todd Hollenbeck because at the time when I met him, he was the coach of Santa Cruz. He was AVCA Coach of the Year in like 2015. He was a
Dude,
banana.
wait. Does Todd have a daughter?
Maybe, I don't know. At this point, he might. But
Well, I'm gonna
I
say,
met him in 15, and then he was Nygaard's assistant at USC in 16, and then now he's at Menlo. He's the head coach at Menlo.
well, the reason I ask about if he had a daughter, because then I could give a tip of the nod for walk-up music when she starts playing. Ain't no holler back girl, ain't no hollering back girl coming up right here on the outside. I mean, this is what runs through my ADD brain any given day. So, and honestly, I forget half of the one-liners. Like there was one that I will recycle all day, every day. And when you see somebody puts the work in, I think it was, I want to say, Welcome to the Van Gunst show. And it was Tegan Van Gunst because she was like
Yeah.
mad fit,
Yep.
her and her twin sister. Or, and again, there's a few of them
She
that I
was close
just
to
enjoy.
three-peating. She was close to three-peating Pottstown Rumble, right? She was right there at the end, And that's,
Mm-hmm.
three-peating at Pottstown Rumble is really hard to do. I mean, winning 2 times in a row is hard enough, but three-peats belong to dynasties, and she was right there. In fact, I'm not even sure if she. No, I think she lost, but I think she was. No, it was Bree Barker and Blanchfield that won.
Oh,
That's the team that won the
yep.
whole thing.
Formerly Bree Siviero.
Yes, that's who it was. That's the name I was trying to get. But Blanchfield, I just
Dude,
met for the first time, man. She's awesome. That's a cool
so
girl,
funny
man.
story. Funny story. Ian Barker, Buffalo boy, won. It was either I think it was Grass Nash. It was either Grass Nationals, one of the G Vegas events.
Right.
And I guess they had he had just asked Bree to marry him, and they were telling me because I've been announcing for a while now, and we just have a great bond and everything else, and we were sitting there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are so cute. That's amazing. Congratulations. So I'm doing the post game interview. By the way, here with our newly crowned champions and apparently newly engaged, Mr. Ian Barker. Congratulations to you and Bree, by the way. So what's next for you? And he goes, probably a phone call from my mom. She's finding out about my engagement right now on the broadcast.
Oh
And I'm like,
no.
oh no. And I'm like, I didn't know. He goes, oh no, it's fine. And I'm like, dude, like after the interview, I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. He goes, no, it's actually kind of perfect. But I go, you should have said something. I would have let you guys run. No, this is kind of our style. And yeah, I get like Sarah, and I'm like, oh, I'm so
Wow.
sorry if you're gonna sit down and wanted to surprise them, or if they were like you're gonna wait to see who noticed, Bree's finger had some new bedazzle on it. And he goes, no, actually, this is more my speed. And I'm like, oh no.
Ah, you did it though. That's cool. You're embedded in their lives and their moment, and it includes, but it's not limited to Dave Shaw.
Like you can literally watch me die inside
Uh-huh.
on this post game interview when I'm
Uh-huh.
going. He goes, "Oh well, my mom's finding out about the engagement right now because we haven't told her yet. We haven't told
Oh
anybody yet." And I'm like,
shoot.
you literally watch the color drop from my face, and you can see my soul leave my body for a minute. I'm like,
Right.
oh no,
Oh
and
geez.
it's uh,
Listen, I want to talk about one more thing, then we'll go to our lightning rounds. Um,
all right.
so Dave, when you're at these tournaments and it gets dark and then the night lights come on and there's a different atmosphere, but it's just as electric. What's the first venue that comes to your mind where you're like, I freaking love night games here?
Wapaka, the boat ride,
Oh,
Wapaka
okay.
boat ride,
The night lights
the
are
stadium,
on.
but
Yeah.
oh yeah, like I mean, there's a few of them that have it, but Wapaka, when the night lights are on and it's two courts, and then they remove when it's just down to the finals, and they remove the second court for like because there's two side by sides for stadium court. When they remove that court, and it's just thousands of people vying to run up and get their courtside seat, and I'm yelling at people last year, going, "By the way, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that everyone has at least 5 feet of pursuit room around end lines, sidelines." And people are like, Dave, it's not going to work. I go, no,
No.
I will hall monitor this situation. I'll be the angry dad. I'll be like, all right, we talked about this. This isn't a discussion. This is a decision.
Right.
Move back. I'll pull out Ted Knight. Move back. or whatever. But they're like, it's not going to happen. And I mean, to everyone's credit, they did okay while still being like, F you. Like I asked for 5, I think I got 3, and I'm like,
That's a
sold.
win. You passed the
Yeah,
test. Got a 65. You passed the test. Got a 65, man.
yo, C's get degrees, baby. So do D's. What's up? But I'm
So
like,
yeah, I'm with
I
you.
mean, like, yeah, and with the lights coming on, it's party time. That crowd is mob deep. Out of 4,000 teams through those gates, all of the players, friends, family, everybody is around that court.
Yep.
So when those lights come on, it means it's semifinal and final time,
Yep.
which it's electric.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, it can be like like you said, you got to read the room, you got to read the pulse, and getting a groggy or like reserved crowd to actually open up and get loud. That's not that case there, but I mean, that's one of the things I love about this job is like, yo, I won. That's how I hang the championship up. Is like I took a crowd that was, you know, reserved or just not going to engage and got them involved. But
Yeah.
with packing those lights come on, and that's the power switch, man.
Nice. It
That
really
is
is.
those lights.
Yep.
The energy fills not only his light bulbs, but the entire freaking crowd.
I mean, mine was New Orleans, and it's probably just because it was
Oh,
the hometown. It was like it was a Kenner moment for Evan Corey, right, against Ralph Rodriguez and Piotr Marciniak, who's absolutely
oh,
who just
dude.
got by Troy Fields and Baranek, right? So I mean, it was. In fact, my match of the tournament wasn't even that. My match of that tournament was them against Dentler and Ferrari. Their semifinals. John Ferrari, that was the tournament of his career. I mean, that was a level up moment for him. And Andrew, Andrew did Andrew things, but
Yeah,
that was my favorite moment because the nights were out, the restaurants there, the families there. And when he gets that last moment, that final moment, and he just hits the ground, and everyone's just losing their mind. In fact, I'm actually looking it up on my I'm looking
dude.
it up on
I need more
YouTube.
John Ferrari in my life.
What's that?
I I need more John Ferrari in my life.
Yes, Dave. I hold that thought. I want to show
Yo,
I want to show the audience the clip. All right, so hold that thought. I'm gonna put camera on and show them the clip.
To take what's yours as far as glory, and that was taken away from him. But now every tournament
I
he
think
seems to be
trying
getting
to
it
make
back.
himself
One
mad
play at a
because
time. Match point opportunity number 1. Oh, basket catch dig, and now that ball's trouble. My goodness, he played that for the match. Corey got it, and that's it. Evan Corey.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted. We were talking about the moment, so I just put it on camera for and just showed the audience. Sorry. It was crazy because you lost the signal and came back anyway. You still with me?
it's coming back.
Yeah.
All right,
You were
got me
talking.
now?
You were talking about
Can you
the
hear me now?
energy. Yeah, you were talking about the energy level of the
Jay,
crowd.
all right. Well, I mean, also you're feeding into that, you're playing to it, but when you got to call that game, and that was, you're right. When that's a great under the lights moment, and that was my number 2. Just to be fair, that was my number 2. With Wapaka is number 1. New Orleans, and by the way, with coconut, whether it's coconut or white sands down there, I mean, that's a different animal when you
Yeah.
have New Orleans volleyball. But I mean that year was the coming out for Evan and Logan. It was the coming out for Taryn and Kristen. So I mean, that was a huge year for
Yeah, because the
Louisiana.
Brazilians were their last loss. I remember they won a bunch of games in a row, and their last loss was in 3 sets previously to Brazil. So, and even though it was a win by forfeit, and they ended up beating them in Wapaka, right? They fought them. They ended up playing in Wapaka and got their vengeance the proper way anyway.
Yep.
And then Atlanta qualifier main draw won, and then their story launches. So let's finish with the lightning rounds, 60-second lightning rounds. I got a minute on the clock. Let's do this. And let's go. Favorite comedian?
Bill Burr.
Nice. Last good book you read?
Blood Dim Timed by author Rennie Arth.
Last good movie you watched, whether it's in the theater or at home.
Last good one. I'm going to say The Gentleman with Matthew McConaughey, who just watched on the flight
Nice.
from Denver.
Um, Commentating or emceeing?
Oh, emceeing.
Marvel or DC?
I'm a big V for Vendetta. I'm going to go with but Marvel all day. I have to go with Marvel.
Pool or beach?
Pool, actually.
Ice cream or cupcakes?
Ice cream all day, son.
Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter?
Harry Potter.
Bourbon, vodka, or tequila?
Yes.
Sorry, that was the horn.
I'm going to go vodka.
All right. Favorite sport outside of volleyball?
Playing or watching?
Good question.
I'm going to go watching, probably hockey. Playing, I'm going to go golf.
Nice. Favorite action film star growing up?
Bruce Willis.
Oh, my dude. I love that you said that. Bruce Willis. I was watching Die Hard. They had it on Showtime, like one right after the other, and I binge watched Die Hard.
I'm going to go with Hudson Hawk, Die Hard, Fifth
Hudson
Element.
Hawk. With Danny Aiello. Would you like to swing on a star? Yo.
Carry moonbeams home in a jar and be better off than you are. Or
Would you rather be a
pig?
fish? Or pig. Or fish. Oh, my God. Listen, people want to know a little bit more about you. Is there a particular website or what's your Insta handle?
My Insta handle is Voice of Reason 78. I'm not a 9 or a 10, but if you're hammered, I'm a solid 7 or 8 on the mic. But it's Voice of Reason. Website, I got to get back with my operator for that. But yeah, if you guys are interested in hiring me, you can hit me up through Instagram. You can DM me there. Currently working on adding a couple of events to the fall, but September AVP League starts September right after Chicago. 8 weeks long, so I have 8 weeks of somewhat of availability if there's tournaments that need my help or assistance in any way. And hopefully, Jay, you and I will be side by side in a chair for broadcast sometime soon.
Yeah, man. Well, let's have a conversation later about Motherlode. I don't know what you're doing that weekend, but we'll talk off camera about that. All right?
And also, I got to talk to you about maybe doing remote for Seaside.
Yeah, I'm in, dude. I mean, look, this is the last year I'm doing this. Because after this, I ain't, if I'm not wanted, I'm not gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing Motherlode.
Dude, it's not about, honestly, you're wanted, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest. You do a great job, and I mean, like you just sent the clip right there from New Orleans.
Yeah.
You were there to tell me that wasn't solid.
I mean, I would love to have the opportunity to do that again, right? Wouldn't I love to have the opportunity to do that again, right? It's not like that, like I said no for the invitation next year. So listen, anyway, this guy might love all of you, but I can't stand any of you. In fact, I'm out of here, all right? So for all of you at home, for all of you on your iPhones, for all of you on your desktop, who runs the world, baby? Old school people. For my man, Dave Shaw, the best commentator I've ever met in my life, the best MC I've ever met in my life. I'm Jason DeBiss. This is episode 2009, 209, 210, who cares? The Option Podcast. I'm going to hit my music and we're out of here. Come check out The Option Podcast on OptionVB.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.